guys, welcome back to my channel. We are doing a speed review video today. I have a pile of products here on my desk that I've been trying out for a couple of months, and I have some updates to share with you guys. Some detailed thoughts on what's worked for me, what hasn't, what maybe I've just kind of like felt so about. We're gonna go through it all today. I'm gonna try and breeze through these as the speed review title would imply and not talk too much, so we had better jump into it. But before we do, really quickly, special welcome to any new visitors here. Hope you enjoy this video today. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. Also make sure your notification bell is turned on. And with all that said, let's get right into the makeup. Okay, so what order to start in? Let's start with some lip products. So first off, I have a lip gloss here. This is the Tower 28 lip gloss in the shade Coconut. So this is one of those products that I just kind of feel so about. I don't dislike this product, this lip gloss. I like it. I love the packaging. I think the spoolie inside, I actually really like the spoolie. In this one, I think the packaging is really fun, but I have to be honest with you guys, I think it's just the shade of this one. While I don't dislike it, I just don't love it on me. It's just kind of like a mid-tone pink, and I've had this in my purse for I think I've had this for over a month now. It's been living in my purse for a long time. What I've found for the last couple weeks is every time I just am like digging with my hand, maybe while I'm driving or I'm sitting watching a baseball game, try to pull something out. If this is what I pull out, I always put it back in and go for something else because I just don't love the way this looks on me. I don't know why. I think it must be the color. There's just something about this color that just, I don't know, isn't my very favorite. It looks like a color I would like, but the couple times I have put this on my lips, I just haven't really loved how it looked on me, which is kind of strange because generally speaking, lip glosses, as long as they're not too dark, I'm not that picky with my lip glosses, at least not my lip gloss shades, but for some reason this one's just, I'm not loving it. I kind of wish I would have tried a different shade out. I have a couple lip liners to share some updates with you guys. First off, these two from MAC. I have Oak right here, and Subculture right here. I love both of these shades. I love the MAC lip liners. They aren't the very most long-wearing lip liners out there, but they do last a decent amount of time. I think these last a little bit better than the Milani ones because they're not as creamy as the Milani ones. They are a little bit stiff. They take some time to build up, but there's something about that I really like. You can really get good like sculpting out of a lip liner that's a little bit on the stiff side rather than something that deposits a lot of color that's really creamy. And I really like both of these. So this one right here is the shade Oak. It's a really nice kind of brownie nude that's not too brown. I'm very picky with brown tone nudes, and this one does work really nice for me. And then this one is Subculture, which is a nice light pink that's very natural looking. Like I put this on my lips and it doesn't look like I'm wearing a lip product. I mean, if it was just this product, maybe a lip balm or a gloss on top, it makes my lips look really natural, but it gives them a little bit more definition and fullness. I really love both of these. Very happy with these lip liners. Big fan of MAC lip liners in general. I have another one that's been a long time favorite of mine, Whirl, and I'm happy to add these two to my collection because I think they're great. Another lip liner I've been enjoying is the Juvia's Place lip liner in the shade Lush. This is a beautiful shade of lip liner. There it is right there. It actually reminds me of Whirl by MAC. The shade of it reminds me a little bit of Whirl. It's very creamy though, so be aware if you don't like something more stiff like the MAC lip liners and you like something that goes on a little bit easier, this is definitely one of those products. It is quite creamy. I wish it lasted a little longer. I mean, it's not bad, but I wouldn't say it's long wearing. Like that's not its strong suit. It's really the shade, and if you like something a little bit quicker and easier to work with, it's going to give you some quick color, easy to blend, easy to smudge in. It's a really nice creamy lip liner if that's kind of your style, and I really do love the shade of this. I also have an update to share with you guys on a moisturizer. I think I talked about this in my last speed review, but I mentioned I wanted to give it one more shot. It's the Refer Hydration Cream Moisturizer. So I worked this back into my rotation and it did break me out again. So this is officially breaking. I mean, it's not like bad breakouts, but I got this little spot right here. I got one kind of on my cheeks. I actually got a couple tiny ones on my cheeks after I was introducing this back into my skincare routine. I was not using anything else that was new or different, so I'm certain it was this that was breaking me out, which is so sad. This is a lovely moisturizer as far as how it feels on my skin. It is super hydrating but not greasy at all. It's like a really nice watery hydration that actually does something more than water would do. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's a really beautiful moisturizer. It has niacinamide in it, dimethicone, centella asiatica, which I don't have a clue what that is, hyaluronic acid, meadowfoam seed oil. Again, don't know what that one is, but it is really nice. I've been using this on my hands because I can't use it on my face. I do like it as a hand moisturizer because that's all I can really use it for now. I wish so badly it worked for me. It's fragrance free, it's essential oil free, but I don't know, maybe it's that centella asiatica that was breaking freaking me out. But something in this just isn't quite working for me. I'll just have to keep using it on my hands and I'll enjoy it for my hands. But I wanted to share that official update with you guys. Okay, let's talk about these. So this is the Nudestix mini set. I can't remember the official name of this. It's basically a trio that has 3 different Nudestix products inside: a blush, a bronzer, and a highlight. So formula wise, I really like these. I love the Bondi Bay shade of bronzer, this one right here. I also love the blush. This one is in the shade Bohemian Rose, a really nice natural looking blush. I just don't like the packaging of these. This is the type of product I don't like just drawing it right on my cheeks. I know some people do like to do that with the Nudestix. I prefer to apply these with a brush, and I find because they're kind of that pencil version, they're just a little bit more tricky to work with when using a brush. I much prefer just the traditional large sized product. It's a lot easier to go into these with a brush. You can just take your brush on the top of the product, whereas this is so tiny and sharp at the top, it's really hard to do that with. But then again, with that said, these larger size ones are pretty pricey. So if you had to buy a full size, it's going to cost you a lot more. I'm not loving the highlighter, the one in the shade Hey Honey. Let me just swatch these for you guys really quickly. It's been a while since I talked about these or used these. So here's the shade Bondi Bay. Really nice light toned warm bronzer, but it's not too warm or too orange on me. Then this is the blush Bohemian Rose right there. Really pretty shade. I do really like it. The formulas are really nice. And then last, this is the highlighter in the shade Hey Honey. This one is a little bit more gold than I prefer. I think it will work better on me in the middle of the summer when I have just a little bit more of a tan to my skin. But again, I don't dislike any of them. I just don't find myself wanting to reach for them a lot because of kind of the awkward packaging for brush use. And cream products, 9 times out of 10, I like using a brush with cream products. I just find it to work a little bit better for me, and these are just a little harder to work with than I was hoping that they would be. Next up, I have a concealer. This is the L'Oreal True Match Eye Cream in a Concealer. This is such a strange concealer. I don't even know what to say about it. I don't dislike it. Didn't find it to break me out or anything. It's very watery, pretty light coverage. I mean, it has decent coverage for how thin and watery feeling it is. Very hydrating. If you have very dry skin and you have a hard time finding a concealer that doesn't look too crepey or cakey on you or flaky, if you have like really dry skin, maybe this would work well for you. I just find it to be a little too watery, too thin, and not enough coverage from this. I need decent coverage from my concealer, especially as we get more into summertime. I start to get a lot of hyperpigmentation on my face. Like I have a couple patches that really start to kind of flare up and darken up in the summertime, and I need a concealer that has pretty high coverage. This definitely doesn't have high coverage. I'd say it's more like light medium. Now, if you have really nice skin and you just maybe have some areas you want to even things out, or if your under eyes are just extra difficult in working with the concealer, you could try this. I think it might work for you, but again, the coverage is just not as high as I need for my skin. It's unfortunate because I really like the packaging of these. They were kind of pricey. I bought 2 of them, and now I feel like I'm gonna have to force myself to try and use them. Maybe I'll give these to my mom and see if she likes them, if they work for her. Although I know my mom likes pretty high coverage too, so my guess is that this is not gonna do much for my mom either. There's gotta be someone out there that can take this off my hands. I don't know. I might hang on to this a little bit longer and see if maybe like in the winter time, which again is going to be like next winter, which is a ways away, maybe I'll like it better in the winter. Because I tried this out for the first time, I think at the very beginning of March, when I really started to spend a little more time outside and my sunspots started really kind of acting up, and I just found this was not powerful enough for what I need. But maybe in the middle of winter I'll give it another chance. We'll see. This might be one that I end up decluttering. Let's move on to this. This is the MAC Face and Body Studio Radiance Radiant Sheer Foundation. Okay, so first off, my thoughts on this. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say it's like a 6. It works well for me. The coverage is very light. I mean, it says it's a sheer foundation, so maybe I should have expected that. Here's where I think this is really strange and interesting. I mentioned in the video where I tried this out that it was my first time trying Face and Body from MAC, and I thought that they had changed either the packaging or the name of this, so I did a little bit of research, heard a few things from you guys, and then went onto the MAC website and read a lot of the reviews on this. So they claim that the formula didn't change from the original Face and Body, but if you read the reviews, seems to be a pretty strong consensus that this is not the same product as it used to be. There were quite a few people that said, bring back the old version. This one does not have nearly as much coverage. Again, I never tried that one, so I can't really say whether that's true, but there were a lot of people that were saying this is not the same product. That said, there were also a lot of people, and I find this to be true. Anytime I read reviews of foundation, this is always how it goes. There's a handful of people that are like 5 stars, best foundation I've ever used in my entire life. And then there's a handful of people that say 1 star, worst foundation ever, totally terrible. I hated this. And then you're left wondering, who do I believe? Which one is going to be me? That's kind of how this one was. It was like 5 stars or 1 star. I mean, there wasn't a lot in between. People either loved it or hated it. I wouldn't say I hated it. It does even out my skin tone a little bit. It doesn't give me a lot of coverage though where I need it. As far as wear time, I think it wore okay. But again, I think it's hard to tell how a foundation's wearing when the coverage is sheer because it wasn't covering a whole lot to begin with. So by the end of the day, there's not a lot of coverage left. It's kind of like maybe that was what was there at the beginning of the day. So those are my thoughts on this. I like it. I don't dislike it. I'm not ready to declutter it. The shade is great. This is the shade C2, which is a really nice shade match for me. But I find myself still wishing I would have tried the original because this definitely is pretty light coverage, more than I remember people saying the original Face and Body was. Another foundation update on the Nars Light Reflecting Foundation. I think I've given you guys pretty detailed thoughts about this. I'm still really loving this foundation. Find it's working better for me as my skin's getting a little bit tanner. I had the shade Salzburg. Really nice long wearing foundation. It looks really good on my skin. It gives a really nice natural finish. I still don't know what that light reflecting quality is. Like, I don't notice any sort of like great glow from this. I wouldn't call it a dewy foundation, but it's also not drying at all. I wouldn't even call it a satin. It's just a good like skin-like finish. I really like it. It wears well on me. It does a great job not settling into my fine lines, which I really love. After like 6 hours, I'll look at my forehead and almost any foundation that I wear, especially if I'm wearing a decent amount of it, I get some pretty strong settling through these forehead lines. This doesn't seem to do that on me, which is great. And it does have really good solid medium coverage, which I really, really love. All right, have an update on a brow product. This one I just tried out like a week and a half ago. It is the Revlon Color Stay Semi-Permanent Brow Ink. I am surprised how well this brow product works. I'm also surprised at how much I've been enjoying it because normally I don't go for this type of a like pen type brow pen brush. Like the Stroke a Brow or that one from Glossier. I haven't actually tried that one. This is actually a really nice product. I mentioned in the video where I tried this out, I was very curious about the 3-day claim. I officially have tested this out a few times. It does last for 2 days. I don't know about 3 days. 2 days though, it definitely does last. If you don't like scrub at your brows when you wash your face at night, if you just like generally wash your face, it will still be there the next day. In fact, I noticed the first time I tried this out that I had used it in a video and done a little swatch on the back of my hand. I think I filmed that video on a Friday, and by Sunday morning, that swatch was still on the back of my hand. Granted, it was on a part of my hand that I don't really like scrub really hard when I wash my hands, but I still felt like that was pretty impressive. Definitely very long wearing. Now, it's not going to give you shape for 3 days, but if you need to fill in some sparse areas and you want something that's going to last for a long time, this is a great product for that. Okay, let's go through 2 eyeshadow palettes I have an update on. First off, this one right here. This is a Juvia's Place Allure 3 palette. This is a beautiful little palette. I have to be honest though, you guys, I find myself not wanting to reach for this one a ton because of this shade right here. I love these shades on the perimeter, and this is a beautiful shade. Don't get me wrong. I think I've used it once, but it's very, very blue, and I just can't. Blues and me, we don't get along very well. I have to really force myself to use a blue like this. It's just not like my style. As much as I think it's pretty and I think it's fun, I just couldn't leave the house in this and feel comfortable. It's just a little bit too bold for me. However, I love these other shades. They're really beautiful. I love these 2 transition shades. This is a great orange, fantastic, beautiful, beautiful coppery bronze. Look how intense that is. It's like an orangey coppery bronze. And of course a matte red brown. I love Juvia's Place matte browns. They're so creamy and pigmented. Look at that, you guys. Oh, gorgeous. Fun little palette. If you think you'll wear a shade like this, I think you'll absolutely love this entire palette. But for me, I find myself having to reach for something else for my lid when I pull this thing out. I like it. It's probably not my favorite of these 6-pan palettes that they've done though, just because of that blue shade. I also have an update for you guys on the Nars Summer Unrated palette. So I don't know, you guys. Honestly, this is a pretty palette. It wears well. The formulas are all really, really nice. They're kind of simple. Like the formulas are kind of more simple. There are a couple in here that are really pretty. Like this is more of a kind of glittery shimmer. Very, very intense, very sparkly. This one right here, this kind of taupey, I don't know what you'd call that. It's like a taupey berry silver. It is beautiful. This is one of my favorite shades in the palette. It's very, very metallic, a beautiful, beautiful shimmer formula. But everything else in here is kind of satiny, very plain kind of mattes. They're pretty, and the looks that come out of it are really pretty, but they're very plain. I know I just got done saying this was not plain enough, and now I'm complaining that this one is a little bit too plain. Clearly I'm very picky. It's not even that I'm picky. I just have a very large eyeshadow palette collection, and the price on this thing was pretty high. The pans are pretty small. I mean, if packaging is a huge deal to you, you'll love this because the packaging is really, really beautiful. The formulas are nice. They're just not my favorite in the world. So this is just one of those that's kind of so-so, and because I paid a lot for it, I kind of maybe regret picking this one up because it was so expensive and it's just not... I'd say they're a solid 7, but I've got a lot of 10s in my collection. And I think that brings us to my last product. It is one that I've had for a long time, the Power Up Mascara from Butter London. I've been raving about this mascara for the last 3 or 4 months. I love it. It's beautiful. If you missed the story where I talked about how this came into my life, kind of a funny story. Dig back in my videos back in, what was it, December, January? So nothing's changed with this mascara. I'm still really loving it. In fact, I'm getting close to the end of this one. I probably need to replace this in another couple of months. I'm hoping I can still find it online because this one's getting harder and harder to find. So the update I have for you guys is on the formula of this mascara. I mentioned that this is a pretty good long wearing mascara, although it's not watery eye friendly, water resistant or waterproof, but I wanted to share with you guys an update on what type of a formula this mascara is, because it has a very interesting, I don't know if I'd call it dry down. Like, it doesn't ever fully dry down. It always stays a little bit kind of sticky and tacky. It's not something I really even noticed for the first couple months that I was wearing this. In fact, the first time I noticed this was when I fell asleep with this mascara on and I woke up and all of my eyelashes were like stuck together in 3 like giant clumps. It was almost like tar. So this is definitely a mascara you do not want to sleep in at night. I felt like I should give you guys that update. And also, if you happen to try this out and you're wondering, like, why is this not setting down? But you can kind of feel it and notice it on your lashes. It just has this very subtly, like it didn't quite dry down kind of sticky feeling that's just different from any other mascara that I've ever tried before. So I wanted to mention that to you guys in case you bought this and tried it and thought like, what is that weird sticky feeling? Did I get a bad tube? It's not you, it is the mascara. It doesn't bother me, but it's something I wanted you guys to be aware of, especially as I rave about this thing all the time. I am, by the way, wearing it in my lashes today. Every time I wear this mascara, my lashes look insane, but they are a little bit sticky. All right, guys, that is it. Those are all the products I had updates for you guys on. Let me know what you guys thought. Have you tried some of these products out? Did you feel differently about them than I did? I'd love to hear. Let me know down in the comments below. Hope this was helpful for you guys. I will try and do these periodically because I feel like if there's products that don't make it into a favorites video, there's so many things that I try that I'll try once and say, oh, this is pretty nice, and then I never mention it again. So I like the idea of doing these regularly to kind of update you guys on things that you might see once and never see again. Anyways, hope you guys found this one helpful. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I hope you guys are all doing well. If you are not yet subscribed to my channel, let me remind you one more time to do that before you leave. But that's all for today. Thanks again. I will see you all very soon in my next video. Bye. Maybe